Sanamavatu Sanamavatu Saviryam Karvavai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Samasta Jana Kalyani Natam Karunamayam Namami Chinmaya Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam Vyasena Pratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitavritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini Amratvam Anusandadami Bhagavati Vedavadveshini Yam Brahma Varmendra Rudra Marutaha Surmanti Vaishnave Vede Sangha Padakramo Parishade Gayanti Yam Samadaha Dhyana-vasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Na Vidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So today we begin the shortest chapter of the Gita. This 12th chapter has 20 verses only. 15th chapter also has 20 verses only. The 12th chapter, all the verses are in Anushput chapter. So only 32 syllables per verse. 15th chapter has many verses which are more than 32 syllables. So verse wise they are same 20. Chapter wise it is honest. 12th chapter. So 12th chapter also is a culmination of the section on bhakti. Second to fifth chapter we saw Bhagavan spoke about the individual and what is the true nature of the individual, how to realize the truth through the path of action, and when the mind is ready, then 6th chapter spoke about meditation and how to realize the self through meditation. 7th to 11th chapter Bhagavan speaks about the different aspects about creation, how he creates this whole world, what is Maya, what are the 4 types of devotees. And then we saw 10th and 11th chapter, the Vibhuti Yoga and the Vishwarupa, cosmic form. Now in the 12th chapter, when I know so much about the Lord, see, for bhakti to arise, jnana is very important. That is also shown in this Gita. So Bhakti Yoga is the 12th chapter, not the other chapters before. Because when I have knowledge about the Lord, not only jnana, I have the jnana of the glories of the Lord, Mahatma Jnana. Then that knowledge makes me look at Bhagavan in all inspiration and my mind becomes awestruck, dumb with wonder. Like we saw in the Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga, Arjuna is flabbergasted, he doesn't know what to do. Then he sees all this in Bhagavan. In Vibhuti Yoga he saw special manifestations. In Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga he saw everything in the Lord. So his mind was completely inspired. And he knows now that this Bhagavan, this Krishna who is standing in front is not an ordinary person, is not the form, is the absolute Lord, the Supreme Truth himself. So devotion arises in our heart when we have clarity of who is God, what is the nature of God, what is my relationship with that God. So many times we also don't know how to invoke devotion in the heart. Because many times our knowledge is not clear. In Srimad Bhagavad there is a story in the Mahatmya of Bhagavad. So Narad Rishi, when he is traveling across in this country, he comes to Vrindavan. And what does he find in Vrindavan? There is an old woman, there is a young woman who is weeping. And next to her are two people who are very old and they are lying unconscious. So Narad Rishi is little puzzled, what is here happening here? So he goes, and there are lots of people standing all around, but they are doing nothing. So he goes to this lady, and as soon as he goes there, she says, I am so happy to see you. Your darshan doesn't happen unless there is a punya. So he asks her, what happened to you? Why are you sad? And who are these two? So she says, I am Bhakti, and these are my children, Jnana and Vairagya. He says, but you are very young. How can it be like that? Your mother is young and children have become old. So she says, yes, because in Vrindavan here right now, people are doing a lot of bhakti. So I am strengthened, I am young. But they have left Jnana and Vairagya. They don't know the real nature of Bhagavan. They don't know what is to turn away from the world and to seek the Lord. So they are just doing blind bhakti. So I am young and my children are old. And the Bhagavad Katha is done to revive Jnana and Vairagya. That's a beautiful aspect of Bhagavad. People think Bhagavad is only emotional stories, crying about the Lord. It starts like this, Mahatma is like this. Jnana and Vairagya are weak. To strengthen Jnana and Vairagya, Bhagavad Katha is done. Of course, so that bhakti will also get strengthened, there is no doubt in that. So knowledge when we have, then only our mind can surrender. Especially those of us who are intellectual, who need clarity. Those who are emotion oriented and who have complete faith that Bhagavan alone is the supreme and they are able to surrender, no problem with them. But those who need knowledge, even in those people, Bhagavan gives them the knowledge. So knowledge is a very important aspect. So this 12th chapter comes at the end of this Bhakti Yoga. The 6 chapters of Bhakti, the 12th chapter comes at the end. Because to really love the Lord, I must know all the different aspects of Bhagavan. So now we begin. So before we go there, we have to see a basic understanding of Bhakti. What is devotion? Something very nice I came across. When some things are special, it is sorrow. When only some things are special, other things are not, then it is sorrow. Because I get attached to those. When one thing is special, it is deep misery. One attachment, everything else sacrificed for that. Deep misery. When one thing is everything, it is sheer torture. One forgets all perspective, loses all balance, everything. When nothing is special, all is joy. Because no attachments. That is called Bhava philosophy. With or without. All is joy. No dependence. Sunday morning we have Bhagavad Gita class. Wow. We don't have Bhagavad Gita class. Wow. If you get aloo dum in your food, wow. If you get bangan ka bharta, wow. If your spouse smiles at you, wow. If the spouse doesn't smile, double wow. Whatever it is. The idea is that nothing is special, meaning there is no attachment specifically. Then all is joy. I can accept life as it comes. When everything is special, all is supreme love. And that is called devotion. Because all this is manifestation of Bhagavan. For a devotee, all this is manifestation of Bhagavan. So everything is special. From a stone to the formless, the person worships everything. Because it's all a manifestation of the divine. There is nothing excluded. Supreme knowledge, supreme devotion, they are one and the same. Para Bhakti and Atma Jnana, one and the same. The devotee will see only oneness. Jnani will say all this is the manifestation of the self. Bhakta will say all this manifestation of God. Hence, devotion is a very important aspect in our life because all of us have emotions. The need for devotion comes here. What is the need for devotion? This is the need for devotion. Loneliness. Because there is loneliness in our heart, there is a sense of separateness. I am separate, world is separate, God is separate. That sense of separateness creates isolation because I live as a small entity, Jiva. And all of us know that we have to leave everything at the time of death. We leave our loved ones, the things that we have accumulated, the achievements, name, fame, everything we leave. So in our mind, we know that this is all not belonging to me. One day I have to drop it. If I don't know that consciously, life will bring those experiences to make me conscious of that all this has to go. So deep down there is a loneliness. What happens with that loneliness is what I try to escape from. To get out of loneliness is what I do many things. I also know relationships are ephemeral, things are not going to be with me. In my life or in somebody's life, I am seeing all this happening. And hence what happens, in spite of wealth, power, fame, name, prosperity, everything, at the end of the day I feel lonely. There is nobody there. For some time I may feel this person is with me, that person is with me, this family is with me, these people are with me, these achievements are with me, but at the end of the day one knows that there is nobody with me. That loneliness one has to overcome. In spiritual life, the journey from loneliness to aloneness is a vast journey. Freedom comes in aloneness. In loneliness, there is complete bondage. I mentioned this earlier also that in our youth empowerment program, we have an exercise for the youngsters. One day they have to be in a room, all by themselves, solitude. 24 hours to 36 hours, generally. There is nothing given except some 2 packets of biscuit, 1 packet of Geeta, 2 bananas and water. That's all is there in the room. They can take toothbrush and toothpaste and go there. There is nothing inside the room. No paper, pen, phone, Walkman, iPod, nothing. And one has to be by oneself. In today's world especially, how many escape routes we have? The moment we say that you don't have to take anything, what is the first question that will come to your mind? What will I do there? Just be, don't do anything. Be means what? I'll sleep. Okay, sleep 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, then another 10 hours. So if we find a person is sleeping, they extend, okay, one more day. Gurudev used to say this, that if you cannot enjoy your own company, why inflict it on other people? Loneliness is like that. I don't like to be with myself because there is an emptiness inside, there is a loneliness inside that haunts. So I have to run out. And I have never come face to face with that loneliness or try to understand what is this loneliness. Because something or the other I am always clinging on to. When all supports are gone, You see, the craving of the mind will be again to catch to somebody something, not to allow the mind to depend. That is what spiritual life is. To walk free. Otherwise, all the time we are walking with crutches only. One crutch gone, another comes. Two crutches gone, another five comes. It goes like that. Hence, the Upanishads also say that this sense of separateness is what creates this whole loneliness in us. Emptiness, isolation, fear, selfishness, all this comes from loneliness. You see, this is how it operates. Once there is separateness, there is emptiness and isolation. I am separate from the other people. I will make a shell around myself. Then there are anxieties, fears, worries, sorrows. To get out of that, I will become selfish, cruel, angry. I even do anything to hurt people, harm people. All born out of isolation. So how to get out of that? The Upanishads say that Vijaya by Bhayam Bhakti. From duality comes fear. So the only solution for this loneliness is that ego which makes me feel lonely, that I have to surrender in love. Love is the only order for surrender for the ego. See, in deep sleep there is no ego, so there is no loneliness. In a state of true love, there is no loneliness. In samadhi avastha, there is no loneliness. In complete absorption in some field or work, there is no loneliness. So ego is equal to loneliness. As long as ego is there, loneliness will be there. And what do I do when I have loneliness? I try to escape. See, this separateness is not there when the child is in the womb. Slowly as the child develops in the womb, the body is getting developed. They say that at third month the jiva associates with the body. Then the development is happening. But still the mind is not expressing fully because the body is still getting developed. When the child is born, the just born child, now which is born, now is separated from the mother. The umbilical cord is cut. Now the child breathes on its own. Slowly that child's identity rises. Separation rises. And so the early childhood also you will find, because identity is getting made, after a certain few months, the child will assert identity. If the mother says you eat now, the child will say I won't eat. Because the identity is getting formed. Uniqueness is getting formed. That I am separate. And its own vasanas, karma, they start expressing slowly. So the rebellion of a teenager, the experimenting nature of the youth, attachments of the adult, they all are expressions of trying to get out of loneliness. So escape routes one will take. Because there is a sense of separation, now there is fear, isolation, anxieties, worries, all this comes. Now one wants to get out of it. So the escape routes of loneliness are so many. Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. All escape routes. Tamasic escape routes, drugs, drinking, all kinds of things. Become unconscious. Rajasic ones, selfishness, work, ambition, many of these, goals. Not to judge anything as good or bad, but it's an escape routes where if I use it well, then it won't be an escape route. If I don't use it well, especially work, etc., then it will be an escape route. Tamasic, Rajasic and Sattvic are like that. Depends on how I use it. Sattvic also. So we have so many clubs and festivals and societies and associations and where human beings likes to come together and engage together in some group activities, including religious group activities. Even puja, japa, etc. can become escape routes. Sattvic escape routes. As I said, depends on how we use it. So Rajasic, Tamasic, Sattvic, all different escape routes, where I try to run away from loneliness, cling on to something which makes me feel better, which makes me feel good, which makes me forget for some time that sense of separation. And no matter whichever escape route I take, until the basic principle doesn't come into play, this loneliness will not go. And what is that basic principle? And basic principle is until there is no love, this separation will not end. End the ego only through love. Now, love for so many things I may have, people I may have, but that is temporary. As long as I am in that state of love with that person, with that thing, or with that field, my sense of separateness is not there. The moment that ends, because it is time now, again that loneliness starts. What is that which is capable of ego surrendering completely? What is that which will invoke that complete surrender of the ego? Is only devotion. We may try different methods of invoking love for different things, people, situations, or feelings. But the mind will come back again. It's temporary. In devotion, once I surrender the sense of my identity that I am Mr. So and so, and I surrender that completely, what remains is Bhagavan alone. And that I see every day. See, every musician also will do that. Will be so surrendered in music that we'll see music everywhere all around. But as long as the mind is in that state, so long the person will remain in that. The moment one comes out of it, again the loneliness and separateness starts. That's why devotion plays a very big role. Because only the Lord is capable of invoking this complete surrender whereby the ego doesn't come back. So bhakti is required by everybody. It's just that we think bhakti means having some form, doing some puja, bhajan, and so people say, I am not the puja variety. Bhakti has so many other aspects to it. Emotional anchoring can happen only in bhakti. Because our demand for true love, unconditional love, we all want to be loved as we are, accepted as we are, and loved at all times. Who will love us like that? No, Swamiji, I have people who love me like that. Wonderful. Blessed you are. But for how long? And the very fact that they are there in my life who love me like that, I will cling to them. And the more I cling to them, more I become possessive, more they will start distancing themselves from me. And if I don't become possessive, somewhere life is going to make us separate. So it's just a good thing that Bhagavan's grace is there, that such a person is there in life, but that doesn't solve the problem. Loneliness still remains. Hence, it is very important that we understand the need for devotion, that devotion is required for everybody. Emotional anchoring and security comes only through devotion. And so here it is, that sometimes people think that devotion is meant for people who are weak, who are emotional, sentimental, who will only cry. But devotion is the need of everybody. Only when devotion is there, insecurity goes. Deep security comes, happiness comes, loneliness goes. And how strange it is that what is the cure for selfishness and insecurity today? That cure only is being rejected. Thinking, no, which God, what God, I don't believe in God, I am a modern thinker and all that. Maybe because the clarity of the concept of God is not there. It is not appealing enough. So then one rejects, which is fair enough. But one has to explore and find out. So this 12th chapter is about that. Gurudev used to say this, to love and to be loved is the greatest joy of existence. And when can I truly love? Only when I get out of my ego. Two things are most difficult to do in this world. Then you guess what are they? Two most difficult things to do.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Okay. That is why.
Leave attachment.
Leave
attachment.
To sit quietly and to love unconditionally. These are two most difficult things to do. If we can do either or both, good evolution will happen. Sit quietly, not tamasik. To be at peace with oneself and just be sit quietly. Without restlessness, without agitation, without wanting to do something, talking to someone. Be quiet. Sit quietly and love unconditionally. Very difficult things to do. Why? Because ego comes into the second one. Some expectation, some dependency, some psychological need will be there. So here it is, love is the solution, devotion is the solution. What is the nature of love? Suppose you have to say what is love, what would you say?
Things for someone without your selfish motive.
When you love somebody without selfish motive, that's the result of love.
You do it, you do action like just.
What is love is the question. How you express it in action, that's a different.
Surrender. Surrender.
Love is surrender.
Immerse yourself. So
Immerse yourself, get out of attachment.
Absence of ego. Oneness.
Feeling of oneness.
absence of ego.
Absence of ego.
Self-surrender.
In satsang you are sitting, that's why giving his answer. Outside, if you go and ask what is love,
Probably it is being happy with the person's well-being and
so the happiness of the beloved is your happiness. Yeah. Think about it when you were in college, when you were in school. What was love for you? Did you give these answers? Surrender, ego. What do you say at
So
that
you
time?
want to be with the person all the time.
When you see first time somebody and then heart beats extra or heart skips a beat, like that. Then you want to spend more time with that person. You find some or other ways to connect with that person. I am telling this to you because this feeling can be invoked for Bhagavan. It's not some intellectual thing or some deep spiritual thing that surrender the ego and oneness we will experience. That will be the result, but bhav has to come. How the gopis want to connect to Bhagavan, how Sudama wants to connect to Bhagavan, how Hanumanji wants to connect to Ram. It's a bhav. That bhav has to come, and Bhagavan we can connect through that, through emotion. It's not some dry thing, intellectual stuff. When we say, oh, this is theory, only tell practical. Practical is this part also. Feeling should come. If I see the Murti of Bhagavan, the feeling must come that only my Lord is standing here. Suppose you love your son, and your son comes in front of you, what will you do?
You hug him.
You will go and hug him. Bhakta feels like that. Hey, my Bhagavan is standing here. That is bhavana. In that bhav, the feeling of oneness is there, that is true love. So generally people think that attraction, crush, infatuation, these are all love. These are all love, but what we can call the lower form of love. True love is identification with the beloved. That feeling of identification, this is mine. That's why that feeling a devotee has, Mere Bhagavan, is my Lord. Like we have feeling for other things or not. My phone, my husband, my house, my money. That in which the feeling of my should be there, in that it is not there. That in which the feeling of my should not be there, in that everything it is there. That is called Maya. Bhagwan's Maya is Maya. Money is not saying you are mine, but I am saying to money, I am yours. House is not saying you are mine, but I am saying I belong to you. That's why we call householder. Householder means one who holds the house. Why do you not come for satsang? घर को बंद करके आना पड़ेगा. अरे तुम घर के लिए हो कि घर तुम्हारे लिए? So I am holding on to those things. They are thinking, they are not saying I am yours, but I am saying I am yours to them. And when Bhagwan is saying, Arey, you are mine and I am yours, he says, taking it. How many times Krishna said in the 4th chapter also he said, Bhakto si me sakha cheti rahasyam vitanutama. You are my bhakta, you are my friend. 18th chapter so he says so nicely, Pratijane priyo si me. Bhagwan tells Arjun that know that I love you. Bhagwan is saying to us, every minute in our heart he is saying that I love you, I love you, I love you. With every beat, aham that is happening, is the love of the Lord which is expressing in the heart. That identification that I am one with the Lord, supreme bhakti that is. To come to that, he said that Bhagwan is mine. That identification is called love, that is called bhakti. One may identify with whichever one likes. Either a form or the whole universe or the formless, that is up to us. But the bhav must be Bhagwan is mine. I belong to the Lord. So what are the different types of love? As we said, one is the lower aspect. Gurudev used to say this, this whole thing about separateness, etc. is there in psychology, no doubt. But Gurudev has mentioned it so beautifully in a book called I Love You. And those are letters he wrote to children sitting from Uttarkashi. In Uttarkashi, he was recovering from his first attack. At that time, he wrote these letters to Balvihar Sevikas and he said that you should read this out to all my children. You see, what he thought that children must know, he gave this knowledge, loneliness, separateness, devotion, and then he takes it to Dvaita, Vishishta Dvaita, Advaita, all that. And to children he is writing that. We will underestimate children, but his mind was very clear that children are more ready to grasp this devotional aspect than any of us because their mind is not skeptical. It is not got polluted yet with unnecessary logic and skepticism. And he wrote it in a beautiful way for them. That book is worth reading. One of the best books on love I've read is that. Such a small thing. But if we can live those things that he has written there, our relationships will be in harmony. So there he writes this. Sneha means the lower form of love, where I love somebody because of the benefit they give to me. I love them because of, they are very beautiful or handsome or rich or famous or talented, whatever. That is Sneha. And Sneha has attachment in it. Snigdha means, Sneh means to sticky. Sneha is like that. It is very possessive, very dominating also. Then comes Prema. Prema is a higher form of love, where I love somebody not for the sake of what benefit they can give, but because of them, how they are as people, as individuals. I admire them, not because they will benefit. I can connect to them at a higher, deeper level, values, humanity, love also. And when this prem is directed to the Supreme Lord, then that becomes bhakti. That I love them not only for what they can give me, not because they are human beings, but because they are also divinity in this form. And the Lord whom I love is the Lord in the hearts of all. So along with seeing their uniqueness and their beauty as individuals, I also see them as manifestations of divine. But Bhagwan alone is all this. So my relationship takes a very different turn. Along with emotions, along with service, there is deeper knowledge that we all are one. So this highest form of bhakti it is. And it is natural to all of us. Nobody can say I don't have bhakti. The only question is, where is that love directed? To sneha, prema or bhakti? And once it is discovered, devoid of all its coverings, ugliness and attachment, it is so vast and great that it can embrace the whole. Not only humanity, it can embrace the entire creation. Unconditional, unlimited love is in our heart. We have to just open it up. So here is a very nice video of Puja Gurudev where he speaks about this devotion and love.
Devotion means love. Devotion means love. Love is a kind of devotion. What is devotion? A kind of love. Even both are the same. Prema, love. Bhakti, devotion. Why two words for the same thing? That is absurd. In no language you have two names of the meaning the same. There is some difference. What is the difference between love and devotion? Okay. You all know what is love. I love my dog. I love my chapel. I love my wife. You say these all the three in one sentence. There will be a great commotion in the family for the next 1 week. But the idea is right. I love my dog. You are right. You love the chapel. I know I love the chapel. And why? Yes, I know. Don't you think he's insulting? Okay. Nobody says that I am devoted to my God. Except a few. No reason man would say that. No reason man would say that I am devoted to my wife. I love my wife, right? But not devoted. But not devoted to your parents. Devoted to your teacher. Devoted to art. Devoted to my profession. Okay? Devoted to my country. Devoted to that philosophy, political order, philosophy. Devoted to the ideal, right? But I love my dog, I love my horse, I love my motorcycle, I love it. You don't say that I am devoted to my motorcycle. Think of the difference. What is the difference? The emotion remaining the same. Love devotion. The emotion remaining the same. When the emotion of love is done something lower, I call it now. And the same emotion, when it is to something higher, I call it. Don't accept, I told you. I think you are sitting down and accepting. Don't accept. When the emotion of devotion of love is for the lower, it is called LOVE. I love this, I love that, I love chocolate also, I love blue color, I love blue color. Everything, blah, 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 blah. But devotion is always when the same emotion is lifted to an altar. Now, if all that is to work, all of you when you are teenagers, you must have gone through one or two experience of what you generally call all over the world. I fell in love. Anybody who has never fallen in love, miserable man. At least now go and fall. I fell in love. Is there a definition in every language? What do you mean by fall in love? You only thing yesterday I was there. Carefree, happy, jolly good man. And yesterday evening in the temple I saw. Then what happened? That means one good and simple thought. I have fallen in my poise, balance, inner happiness. I seem to have gone into confusion. I don't know now whether I will be able to marry her, whether my parents will allow me, how will I marry, but when you marry, I have to look after her, and how will I look after her, where is the money for it, and I have no job at all, I'm unemployed and unemployable. All the sorrows come to your mind. Then you say, I have fallen in love. Falling in love is called love, but rising in love is called devoted. When you become devoted to some ideal, you start developing your personality. Your little grows. To rise in love is called devoted. So when I have got a goal, a symbol there to symbolize my beloved Lord, and I tune up my mind into Him in devotion, I cultivate or develop my faculties more and more if I am used.
So falling in love is, what did he say? Falling in love is love. Rising in love is devotion. So that is bhakti. The same love channelized to a higher ideal, higher altar, and the highest altar is the Supreme Lord. That is bhakti. So now the word bhakti, simple meaning bhajanam bhakti, to sing the glory of the Lord. That is one meaning of bhakti. Second meaning of bhakti is to serve, bhaj sevaya. The root word of bhaj means seva. To serve the Lord, that is also bhakti. And bhanj amardane means to break, to cut. So to cut out all attachments and expectations for the lower, that is called bhakti. So the same word means love the Lord, know the Lord, serve the Lord. Bhaj. Bhakti comes from that. And then only that bhakti is complete. When I know about Bhagavan, which invokes love in my heart, when I have love in my heart, I want to serve that Lord, then that is complete bhakti. And such a person is called as Bhakta. Who is a Bhakta? Who is always one with the Lord, never separate. What I truly love, I want to be one with that. So here he says, Bhakta is one who is never vibhakta, never separate from God. So this chapter is Bhakti Yoga. This chapter will tell us about these aspects. How to sing His glory, how to serve the Lord, and how to be one with Him at all times. And who are these devotees who are one with Him? 36 qualities of such devotees are there in this 12th chapter. So it is the shortest chapter of the Geeta. And number 12 has a lot of significance in Bhakti Shastra. So Dwadashi, the 12th day in our calendar, the 12th day is called Harivasa. It's the day of Bhagavan Vishnu. Like we have Sankashti is for whom? Ganesh. Pradosha is for whom? Lord Shiva. Like that. 12th day, Dwadashi is for Lord Vishnu. And Ekadashi is done only for preparing oneself for Dwadashi. You see, Ekadashi Vrat, what is Ekadashi Vrat? People generally think that Ekadashi Vrat means I should fast on that day and not eat on that day. That is what we have been doing. But what is the scripture saying? Ekadashi is controlling of the senses, 10 senses and 1 mind, 11 On the 11th day, I do upvas for one. I eat only once or I eat only some fruits. Control my 10 senses and the mind. Withdraw it, train it, not to be indulgent in the world outside. So that on 12th day, there is only remembrance of Bhagavan and there is no food to be eaten on that day. Remember the Lord, you know. Upa means near, Vasa means to sit. And the fast is broken on the 13th day in the morning. Or the Tithi, 13th Tithi, when the Tithi sets, the first meal of that Tithi. This much is called Ekadashi Vrat. Not that simply don't eat on Ekadashi day or simply, the best thing is on the day of Ekadashi, special food will be eaten. Rajagre ka puri and then potato ka bhaji and then sabudana ka kheer. All upvas food, full of starch. So I am supposed to eat only once or I am supposed to eat only fruits on Ekadashi, nothing on 12th day. Hungry. Meaning, withdraw the senses, not only food wise, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, no engagement in sense objects. Turn the mind to the Lord within. And the next day keep remembering Bhagavan. Then the third day, 13th, break the fast. This principle I have to understand. Now how I adapt it in my daily life because I am working professional or I am whatever student, then I adapt it in my life according to the way in which I want. So 12th day is the day of Lord Vishnu. The mantra of Bhagavan Vishnu also is Dvadashakshari mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. There are 12 skandhas in Bhagavat also. Like that, the 12 has a lot of significance. So Bhakti over here also is 12th chapter. Now what is the Bhakti Yoga starting with? It starts with this question of Arjuna. Let us see. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Dvadashodhyayaha. Arjuna Uvacha. Evam Satatayuktaye. Bhaktasvam Paryupasate. Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam. Tesham ke yoga vittamaha. So he says here, Arjuna asks the question, Evam Satata Yuktaye. In this way, those who are constantly worshipping you. In which way? Just now the Vishwarup Darshan has got over. So either as Virat Roop, that all this is Bhagavan, or as the Ishtadevata, one particular form of the Lord, who is the manifestation of Ishvara, the Supreme. And what are the qualities of the Ishvara? He is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, powerful, compassionate, one who gives us the ability to act, one who gives us the results of action. All this is the qualities of Ishvara. So either I am worshipping Ishvara through a specific form, or I am worshipping the Lord as all beings, the whole creation, Virat Roop, or I am worshipping Bhagavan as an avatar. Like specifically, let us say Rama, Krishna, these avatars. So his question is, are these people who worship the Lord with the form better, or Nilechapi Aksharam Avyaktam, imperishable and unmanifest, those who worship the formless consciousness as their own self, as Sachidananda? Who is better? Tesham ke yoga vittama. Who are the best amongst the knower of yoga? This question is always in our minds also. Which should I take, form or the formless? And a lot of time one wants to take formless because one feels that formless is very primitive. I don't do idol worship. I worship God as nature, or I worship God as consciousness, or I worship God as power. But the conflict is there in the mind. Should I take form? Should I not take form? Should I take? Should I not take? What do you think Krishna would have answered here? Form or formless?
Depends on your state of mind. From preparation form.
So somebody is saying form, somebody is saying formless, somebody is saying both, somebody is saying go from form to formless. Krishna knew that you will answer all this, so he never gave any of these answers. His answer is something else only. So what can that answer be? See, Bhagavan is very clear. He never gives a solution. He makes us think and come to our own conclusion. That's the beauty of the Geeta. It never takes, it's not diplomatic stand, okay? It is giving the principle in such a way that anybody can apply it and come to their conclusion. That's what a good teacher is supposed to do. Make the student think, not give them the answer. So Krishna makes them think. He gives him 3 pointers. He says you apply these 3 pointers to whichever state you are in, then you will get your conclusion. Like a formula. You give a formula, then you apply to the problem, you will get your solution. So now before we go into the solution part of it, now if you think that God is only formless, and form is not there at all, that is to limit the power of the Supreme. Bhagavan is both form and formless and beyond also. Remember one more thing, form and formless both are means. Bhagavan is not formless. Bhagavan is beyond formless also. Formless is only where we say the form is not there. But there are many other things there. Pointers of the truth are there. That's only a means, that is not the truth. So if one thinks that people who are worshipping formless are superior, it is nothing like that. They are also using a means only. Whether you see your son in a photograph or you don't use a photograph and just invoke him in the mind, remembering some qualities of his. Both are not the sun. The sun is separate from the picture and the qualities I think about him. In the same way, Bhagavan is beyond form and formless. Which method I use depends on my temperament. So neither is superior to the other. The best is one who knows that both are his aspects only. Form also is his aspect, formless also is his aspect. And based on our inclination is what we have to choose, that okay, which one suits me. It is possible that I choose a certain method at a certain level of my evolution and then rise above it also. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa for a long time worshipped Mother Kali as a form. And for the devotee, the form is not a form. For the devotee, form is Bhagavan only. And at a point in time, he transcended that form. Totapuri Maharaj helped him, guided him, went into the formless and went beyond formless also. Same way, Vivekananda ji, Gurudev, Tapur Maharaj, all of them. Shiva is form and Shiva is pure consciousness. All of them, Gurudev, Tapur Maharaj, Vivekananda ji, they worship Shiva as a form and then Shiva is formless and then went beyond both. Realize that Shiva is me. So that way, form and formless, both are means. So what is the reply of Krishna? See, 3 points which I told you, these are the 3 points in verse number 2. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Veshya Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayo Betaha Tene Yukta Tamamata. So the first pointer he says is Mai Aveshya Manaha, in which the mind gets absorbed fully. That is the first pointer. It can be form or formless. The moment I think of the form, my mind is fully absorbed in that. Where I love the Lord alone, not I love the Lord also. Bhagavan alone deserves my full love. And I think of the Lord and my mind is absorbed in that. Nothing else, the mind is occupied by. So our mind runs behind so many things. It hankers behind people, objects, things, and God also in that. This is the devotee whose mind is absorbed in the Lord. Like the river goes and merges with the ocean, like that. One day a gopi is sitting and struggling very hard to, thinking, she's as well in meditation and struggling very hard. So Uddhavji comes there. Uddhavji thinks that what these gopis, why Krishna loves them so much, who are these people, and why Krishna sent me all the way from Mathura to give a message to these gopis. They are ordinary women. What are they? So he had that opinion in the mind. So when one gopi is sitting there on the banks of Yamuna, meditating and struggling in meditation, and her expression on the face also is showing, she's struggling against something. So Uddhavji thought maybe some difficulty the person is going through. So Uddhavji said, what are you struggling with? Can I help you? He said, yeah. She said, please help me. He said, yes, tell me what can I do? He said, this Krishna is just not leaving my mind. I'm struggling hard to get my mind away from this Krishna. He is just occupying my mind all that time. You think about it. Our situation is the ulta. Objects don't leave our mind. People don't leave our mind. Here that gopi saying, Bhagavan is occupying my mind full time. I'm just not able to move. That is called devotion. Where the mind is absorbed in that. So if the form can absorb my mind, that is bhakti. For me, form is useful. If I say that no form, my mind is absorbed, then I hear Shivoham, consciousness. Mind takes off. It doesn't remain in the worldly realm. In which the mind is absorbed. In that means of upasana I have to take. So, Maya Avesha Manahanyema. See, Avesha means what? Overwhelming or overpowering. Like we have Krodh Avesha. In Krodh Avesha, what will happen? Krodh completely takes control of me. I become so angry and I become abusive, I become violent and I forget my identity, who is standing in front of me, everything gone. What remains? Krodha. Bhutavesh means one ghost has occupied me, possessed me. I forget who I am. In that way, this is Avesha, Mai Avesha Manayema, in which the devotion overpowers me. Where the mind just gets lost in that. Ramakrishna has to hear the word Kali and he will go into Samadhi. Just hearing that word. Because the mind is so much involved in that devotion to that Mother Kali. Goes. So if my mind is like that for form or for formless, whichever it is, that is the path I have to choose. So first is that, Maya Avesha Mano Yema. Second one, Nitya Yukta Upasate. Constantly the mind is striving to unite with that Supreme by living in self-control. Nitya. Not now and then. For us it comes now and then. Steadily the mind seeks to be one with the Lord. Think about it. What do we find it easier to connect to? Either the form or the mantra or pointers of the truth. Which one? Constantly to think about Krishna itself is difficult. Or to chant the name of anyone. Krishna, Durga, Devi, any form. Hanuman. Yesterday we had Hanuman Jayanti. 108 times Hanuman Chalisa. 7 hours it will take. If you calculate 4.5 minutes for Hanuman Chalisa, about 6-7 hours it will take. What is he trying to do? Nitya Yukta. Constantly keep the mind on Hanuman. Don't allow that thought to be broken. Hanuman Chalisa at least is 40 verses and different leelas of Hanuman, so one can keep thinking. But of course, limited to Hanuman, did not think anything else. But there are many, many leelas one can think of. On Shivratri day, we do Akhanda Nama Sankirtan of Om Namah Shivaya. Only Om Namah Shivaya. From morning 6 o'clock till midnight 12 o'clock. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. What are we trying to do? Nitya Yukta Upasati. Constantly think of only Bhagavan, exclude any other thought. Because when I love the Lord, mind will want to go there. See, that's why this is all feeling, the realm of feeling. When I love something, let us say I love cricket, then I want to see cricket. Now all the time the mind is wanting to go there. Watch. Football happens, now World Cup football. In India, the time many times is the last football cup, World Cup when it happened. It is midnight time here. After midnight, early hours. But those who love it, they keep watching. Their mind goes to that all the time. So Nitya Yukta, in that way the mind must want to think about the Lord and constantly strive. So which one do I find it easy? The name and the form or the absolute formless? There are people who do for formless also. Their mind will just go into samadhi the moment they think about the formless absolute truth. So Maya Aveshya Mananjima Nitya Yukta, where the practice I look forward to. The second point is that the practice of remembrance I look forward to that. Sometimes for us the practice of japa also we don't look forward to. Because that's how the mind is involved in the sense objects. So if I have to do japa, then I have to push my mind. Come on, do it. Today's one mala is remaining, do it. Here is the devotee whose mind goes Nitya Yukta. Constantly is going there. So, one is the absorption of the mind. Second is in the practice, which one the mind is comfortable with, where it happily takes it up. Then the third one is, I do it with supreme unflinching faith. Shraddhaya paraya upeta. Where is that parashraddha? We think that God is omnipotent, but we still don't know whether He will solve my problem. He is omniscient, He is all-pervading, but we still keep telling Him, Bhagavan, do this for me, do that. He knows now sitting in our heart what has to be done. Supreme faith. He is all-pervading, but we don't see Him in our heart. So the supreme faith is Bhagavan is all-powerful, all-knowledgeable, omnipresent, and He is with me all the time. He knows what is the best to be done. And with that faith, I live my life that Bhagavan is with me at all times. I don't have to worry. No, but that is not changing my problems of life. Then we are making God as a means to solve the problem. That love is not love for the Lord. Devotee doesn't ask solutions for his problems from Bhagavan. He says, Chahe vidhi rakhe Ram, tahe vidhi rakhe. The problem is there, Bhagavan will help me to cross over. The problem is not there, that is also God's grace. He is not saying to Bhagavan, I am your devotee, I have prayed you for so many times. Why have you given me these problems? I have lost faith in you. None of that. Supreme faith it is. Prahlad never complained even once that, what is the use of saying Narayan, Narayan? My father is still wanting to kill me. He never thought like that. Supreme faith is that. Shraddhaya paraya upeta. And what is that faith with which one does the practice? See, Ramakrishna used to do the practice like this. Every day he was a temple priest. He used to worship Mother Kali in Dakshineshwar temple. At one stage in life, his devotion came to a point where he felt that every day, that every evening he would regret, one more day has passed and I did not have darshan of Mother Kali. His faith is that Bhagavan will give me darshan, Kali will give me darshan today. With that faith he prays. Our faith is, we are sure Bhagavan is not going to give me darshan today. For the kind of papi I am, Bhagavan is not going to give me darshan only. Supreme faith is, today Bhagavan will give darshan. With that bhav one does it. In childhood, my grandmother used to tell me this story. You must have also heard many times. So there was this man who was a devotee of Lord Ganesha. And he kept on doing puja of Ganesh. And he kept on asking Ganesh for some promotion. But the promotion never came. Quite a few years passed. Then the devotee got fed up. He said, this Ganesh ji, I don't think he's bothered about me. I am not going to worship him at all. And he took that Ganesh ji and put him in the attic. And he said, Shivji is called Ashutosh. He is Bhole Baba, Bholenath, very easy to please, So he put Shivji there. And he started worshipping Lord Shiva. So that he lit the lamp and then he offered the flowers, did all the steps, and when he came to Agarbatti, he lit the Agarbatti and he kept it there. But what he saw that the fumes of his Agarbatti, they are going towards Lord Ganesha in the attic. They are not going towards Shivji. He got very, very angry and upset. He took 2 balls of cotton and he climbed up, and in the attic, in the trunk of Ganesh, he put those 2. Saying that you should not smell this agarbatti. I worshipped you so many years and you did not bless me. Now I am worshipping Shivji and still this is coming, you should not have it. And it is said that Ganesh gave him darshan that day. See, at least now you think I am existing. That's a story, but the bhav is that Bhagwan is there. You see, Ramakrishna, when he was asked by Vivekananda is such a skeptic person. He was in Brahma Samaj before he came to Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And Brahma Samaj, they are non-believers of no form. He was a Brahma Samaj follower at that time. But he had this conflict. So he went around asking people, have you seen God? Have you seen God? Have you seen God? And everybody gave him some theory. He said, I don't want theory. Have you seen God? And Ramakrishna only told him this. Yes, I have seen God and I see Him more real than you. He was stunned when he got that answer. For the devotee, Bhagwan is more real than the world. For a non-devotee, the world is real and Bhagwan is not there. So here he says that supreme faith, Shraddhaya Paraya. Supreme faith is Bhagwan exists, number 1. Number 2, this sadhana that I am doing will take me to that Supreme Lord. Here and now. It is not later. Not about what about all this, my karma, I have to get exhausted, then I will have darshan of Bhagwan. That will lead to Bhagwan. Yad kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhava. Mukam karoti vachalam. The dumb will become eloquent. The lame will start walking. That will lead to Bhagwan. Don't think that you have to purify the mind, then Bhagwan will give darshan. If Bhagwan wants to give darshan, he will give darshan to anybody. Duryodhan got darshan of Bhagwan, forget anybody else. He wanted to capture Bhagwan and Bhagwan showed him his cosmic form. He says, I am the creator of the world, what are you trying to catch me? He got the darshan before Arjuna. Where does law of karma apply? Law of karma applies at one level. When grace factor starts working, it is very different. So we don't have to worry about that, my karma will happen, then we keep doing our duty, no doubt. We keep following our spiritual practices. Don't say, anyway, grace only Bhagwan is, I am not going to do anything. Sit quietly. Wherever Bhagwan wants, then we will give darshan. No. We keep doing our effort. But with that faith that Bhagwan will give darshan, Bhagwan is existing and I can experience oneness with Him. That faith devotee must have. The faith in the existence of the Lord, faith in the means, and the faith that I can be one with the Lord. Very important. Then that supreme faith it is called. Unflinching faith. Now apply this in whichever field. Do I have? But is my mind absorbed in the Lord with form? Is my mind looking forward to practicing the remembrance of the Lord with form? And is my mind having supreme faith in the form that Bhagwan exists in this form? So many devotees don't even have that faith that Bhagwan exists in this form. They only think it is symbolism. So many countless rishis and saints, even in the last century, they have had darshan of Bhagwan. And as we have discussed earlier, whichever form you like, worship the Lord in that form. There are specific forms which the scripture reveals, which exist. So faith in the existence of that form, and that Bhagwan is. Either these three in the form or in the formless. The mind must get absorbed in the formless. Mind must steadily want to contemplate every day, looking forward to it every moment. Remain as a sakshi. And the mind must have supreme faith that this is my true nature. I am not the body, mind, and intellect. So see the answer, such a nice answer. He didn't say form or formless. He didn't say evolve from form to formless. He just gave these three. At some stage in my life, if I need the form and I will use the form, I use it. At some stage, if I have risen above the form, I have to use formless, I use that. Then go beyond. So this is the reply of Krishna. Now he comes to explain some aspects about Upasana. Both form and formless. Form Upasana is already spoken a long time back in the earlier chapters. So what is the Siddhanta of Upasana? Upa, as we said, is near. Asana means to sit. Upasana means on something which is very ordinary, something extraordinary superimposed, and I try to invite that within me. That is called Upasana. So like a piece of cloth is what we call as a flag. It's just a piece of cloth, intellectually speaking. But when I superimpose the nation on that this is my country's flag and I love my country, then that piece of flag, piece of cloth is no more an ordinary cloth. That invokes patriotism in me, that invokes nationalism in me, that invokes the pride of belonging to this country. That can inspire me to give my best, including sacrificing my life for the honor of this country, for the welfare of this country. That is Upasana. Where I superimpose on something ordinary, something very extraordinary, and inculcate all those, so that the Siddhanta is the Upasya and the Upasak, they become one. We become what we worship. So the devotee merges with the Lord. Because the sense of difference was always illusory in any case. The waker and the dreamer are one only. The sense of difference is illusory. The waker has woken up, the dreamer has woken up. Like that, the devotee merges with the Lord, one with the Lord, realizing that all the time Bhagavan was in my heart as my true self. So Upasak and the Upasya, they become one. Like the person who loves the country is identified completely with the country, forgets his identity. And Upasana is Bhava Pradhan. It is feeling. So if I sit to do any bhakti sadhana, I have to invoke that feeling first. It is not about mechanical repetition at all. A lot of people ask that, Swamiji, how to ensure that japa does not become mechanical? Japa cannot be mechanical. If I invoke Bhagwan's grace, I invoke the love in my heart, who is this Lord? Every moment who is with me, who is taking care of me, is doing so much for my existence itself, the creator of this whole universe. Natural devotion will arise in the heart. Then start doing the practice, it will not be mechanical. Without invoking devotion, if I start just doing mechanical practice, it will not work. Like even in exercise, you see, warm-up is required. If you don't do warm-up and then start doing exercise something and then go and start playing some sport, what will happen? Catch in the body. Somewhere some pain will be there. What is the warm-up required? Before we do spiritual practice. This one. Invoke devotion in the heart. So bhakti is that. Upasana helps me to invoke that devotion and we lose ourselves in what I am worshiping. So the Upasana is very important method. So whether it is form or formless, both are Upasanas. So for form worship, this is what the devotee does. It is easy for the mind to relate because there is support. There is emotion, there is a picture. Form always helps to integrate the head and the heart. Knowledge of the form and love for the form. So head and heart will come together. It increases our purity as well as concentration. We can have just, staring at the tip of the candle. In one meditation camp we did that. Different methods of upasana we practice. 15 minutes each, 10 minutes each, like that. Staring at the tip of a candle, staring at a black dot, staring at a blank wall. So many. Those are methods to increase concentration, but purity of mind doesn't come because surrender doesn't happen. A form will invoke both purity as well as surrender, and definitely transform the subconscious mind. Because the name goes deep into the mind, transforms. Because with the name goes the vibration, goes the meaning, goes the values, the ideals, everything. Hence the person transforms at a very deep level. So the form worship has many benefits. And what should one do in the form worship? There is such a wide scope available in worship of the form. First and foremost is choose one form, Ishtarupa. If we are not able to choose one, pray to the Lord that please reveal to me which is the form I should worship to you. If you have conflict that I love this form also, that form also, observe which is the form you love more. Because God is only one. And every great master has chosen only one form. They may continue to worship the other forms on occasions, but in the Nitya Sadhana there is only one form. So choose one form, choose one name. This is a fundamental. And after that, one can imagine so many things depending on what the state of the mind is. Imagine the dham of the Lord, the abode, like Krishna lives in Golok, or Vishnu lives in Vaikuntha, or Shivji lives in Kailash. So imagine the dham, imagine the rupa, imagine the qualities of that Lord, imagine the leelas of that Lord. What are the leelas that Bhagavan does? Imagine the relationship. What is my relationship with Bhagavan? What am I doing in all this? Invoking devotion, channelizing my life. Sarva Sakara Rupa. See the glories, the vibhuti of that Bhagavan, and ultimately know the swarup of that Lord. That this Lord is nothing but pure consciousness, Sachidananda Swarup Atma. So even for Krishna, the first shloka of Bhagavad Mahatmya is that. It starts with the formless only. Sachidananda Rupaya Vishwapatyavi Hetave Tapatra Yavinashaya Shri Krishna Yavayam Namaha. We salute Shri Krishna, who is of the nature of Satchit Anand, who is the creator of this whole universe, sustainer and destroyer, and who removes the three tapas. That Supreme Lord Krishna we salute. So this way the Sarva Sakara Upasana happens. In our next class, we will be doing this Sarva Sakara Dhyana, the worship of the Lord with the form. We have done formless earlier, which is Nirgun Nirakar. In 8th chapter we had done that, Kavim Purana Manusasitaram. Then we did worship of Om, which is Sagun Nirakar, which is form, no form but qualities, Sagun Nirakar. Now we will do Sagun Sakar, with form, with qualities. So that we will take up in our next class. On 4th April, we are having a satsang here on the Yuddha Kanda of Ramayana. So Ram Navami just went by. We will We celebrated it by Sundarkand Parayan last Sunday, and we have a program, one more program here. So there is a quiz on Yuddhakand. So some of the members of the study group and they will be participating in that quiz, because we have been studying one Kand of Ramayana for the last 5-6 years, and it will end with this Yuddhakand. And then there is a satsang also which I am giving on success in the war of life. So it is open to all on 4th April from 10:30 to 12:30, 2 hours. Quiz, talk, prasad. Then the second announcement is, if anybody is new who has not registered, then please contact Shamanji. And one more announcement is that I put it on the group already. No, it is not. It is on Tuesday. No, it will continue on Tuesday. Yes, so one more announcement is what you already know. We have distributed the pamphlets of the camp. There's a national camp that is coming up, which is for the youngsters, and this national camp is 18 to 25, 18 to 28-year-old. This is a promo of that. I just want to share with you. So this is a very, very inspiring camp. Be there for yourself, for your culture, for your country. That's the theme. And as you saw, so many different activities and new personalities coming. Best way to introduce a youngster to spiritual life is send them for a camp. There is a lot of action, there is a lot of dynamism, and it is done in a way they love it. It will not happen only as long lectures with a lot of interaction, activities, programs, many things are there. So if you know anybody who is in the age group of 18 to 28 in your family, friends, relatives, anywhere, please send them for this camp. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि